afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter. Tonight we got a great show. We have Raul Torres joining us. That is the owner of South Georgia Motorsports Park. And hey, I tell you what, he's got a lot of things fixing to happen there at South Georgia. We're going to get into the nitty gritty and talk about all the events. He's got some new marketing partners that's jumped on board as well, and we want to give them a mention as well. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Well, Raul, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I tell you what, man, y'all got a lot of stuff going on there at South Georgia Motorsports Park. Sick Week is kicking off this weekend actually, and we'll run all through next week, and then they return back just in a short trip of, I think I want to say they travel 847 miles, 45 miles, something like that, yeah. Which is really neat for everyone to see, and I hope a lot of people will take the time as those cars are traveling from y'all's track to the others and back. Pull over the side of the road, take out a lawn chair out of the back of their truck or their car and sit there and watch the parade, watch the car show go by.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have a lot going on. As you may or may not know, we walk by faith here at South Georgia Motorsports Park, and as you can see behind me, it's still daylight. You know, I don't know what it's like back at home in Jacksonville, but it's daylight here at South Georgia. We're still working on the property till the sun goes down. So good Lord giving us 20 hours of daylight over here at SGMP to get things done. That's the only way to get things done. So
oh man, you got the best place to have 20 hours of daylight.
But, little cloudy, but it's working.
True, but you can still see. But Raul, once again, thank you very much for taking the time out of your crazy busy schedule, you and your family, and to be able to come on here and On the Spot Motorsports tonight and talk to us, like you said, about the great things that's been going on at South Georgia Motorsports Park. I got to tell everybody, first of all, ahead of time, I apologize. I got like some sinus issues going on, so you know I got problems at times. I got a cough and with some drainage and stuff. So I'm just telling you all ahead of time. You're not going to get a computer virus or nothing like that. So you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. And just letting everybody know. But no, like Mitchell said, you got Sick Week coming. Now tell me, how in the world did that work out where y'all ended up being the host track this year?
Well, a lot of folks come from the north, right? Us being in the southeastern United States, there's only one other state that does not go south. Everyone else has to come south to go to Sick Week. And working with Tom and Jenny last year, they felt it was a good fit. A lot of their racers had expressed that concern in the past, and for whatever reason, it hadn't happened at South Georgia before. But they felt comfortable, and they thought we were capable. It's a big step because you go from hosting one day during the week to now we're having them there on site for 5 days. So it's 5 times the amount of work, 5 times the amount of food, 5 times the amount of details you've got to look at. From parking to electrical spots, VIP bands and tech and everything else, closing the gates at night, security. We hit it off with them, and just like we have with many other promoters, Robert, we built a very good relationship. I honestly cannot think of one promoter that we haven't hit it off with. We've gotten along very well. Tried to partner with the best in the industry, and Tom Bailey and his crew are certainly one of them.
That would definitely make sense. I mean, you and your track and your family, I should say, and track family, excuse me, has shown put in the hard work, and other people and other promoters have noticed it and watched it. And so it's a good fit. Like you said, you being the most northern track of the route, and with the size and capability of your track and the staffing, it totally makes sense to start off there. It's going to be great. Been there. I've come to South Georgia before for Sick Week, and absolutely loved it. I mean,
it's one of the many. I can't say all, but one of the many events that we host that I certainly don't have any problem finding employees, because they all want to work it. They all want to see the station wagons that are going, 7 seconds in the quarter mile, or the pickup trucks that have a big block twin turbo in it. And a lot of our employees and even fans could relate to these cars that we see at Sick Week, because, it could be a minivan. There's one minivan that's electric, and it has,
got a Tesla setup in it.
And it's a Honda Odyssey of all things, So there's certainly a lot of different unique cars. You come to some of our races and you have cars going 200 miles an hour as if it's a walk in the park. And some of our fans know they can't relate to that because it's something out of their reach. But these are your typical grocery getters, and they're having a lot of fun. When they sell out in a couple of minutes, it tells you a lot. And then when Tom Bailey and his crew put these tickets up for sale, they sell out in a couple of minutes. Whether you've been there for the first time or 3 years straight, you have to be one of the first ones online to purchase your tech card or your admission. If not, it sells out, and that speaks volume for the kind of racing that they're putting on.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And the fact that there's no purses for the drag and drive event is for you could say bragging rights. It's for earning it. And Mitchell and I have talked about this. The challenge of driving almost 1,000 miles in something like this and surviving.
He's a genius. So we're going to meet with a bracket racer, see if I could give him a helmet every weekend rather than $5,000 payouts every single day. And I'll speak to Donald Long to see if we could cut back the payouts from $125,000 to what they do at Sick Week. But it goes to show you that we don't do this for the money. It's nice to win a purse, and I could say that I'm joking about small tire racing and bracket racers. Everyone does it for the passion that they have about racing. They don't do it because it's going to generate income. On the contrary, it costs all the racers a ton of money to keep their cars running and go visit racetracks between concessions, and fuel and admission and tech cards and everything else. It's a pretty penny to come out the race. So obviously nobody does it for money. As promoters or track owners, we like to add, cash payout or purse at the end of the race, but this proves that it's not necessarily the case.
Right. Exactly. And, and there's going to be some big names that's going to be, participating in this. You have Alex Taylor. You've got Garrett Mitchell, a.k.a. Cletus, and also Jeff Lux. He participates in it with his, I think it's a 57 Chevy, isn't it, Robert? But just a beautiful car. And there's some actually cars that could run pro mod. We're talking about 5-second cars that are actually driving, from track to track with a trailer behind them. Is just unreal to see them make the trip all the way around and survive. So, it's a really great outing for the family to come out and watch and get to talk to some of the racers, about their setups and stuff like that. Get ideas from them. Because you know what, they may want to join in and participate, but like you said, the tickets sell out really fast, and you have to be right there on the keyboard, ready to strike the key as soon as it's available. And I know some people, they do that and they still can't get in. They have to get put on the waiting list in case someone gets drops out. But yeah, it's always a great event. And of course, I think Derek Putnam, he's going to be doing the announcing. You can't find a more energetic person than Derek Putnam. I think he's actually watching tonight, and just his style of announcing is just sends electricity through the stands. It just makes you really want to get involved, like you're part of the event, just sitting there watching.
Yeah, Jenny and the staff at SICK, we certainly know how to organize a great staff. Derek is highly sought after, and we try to get him over to SGMP as often as possible. And oftentimes he's not available because he's already committed to something or has been doing it for a long time. And him and I just started this relationship a year and a half ago. I've known of him and he's known of me for a very long time, and we're very cordial in the past. But the minute he started working with us, and aside from what you hear, what goes on in the tower, he's leaps and bounds above a lot of folks out there, and his work ethic. I live with my phone here next to me. Unfortunately, to some degree, it's not a good thing, but I'm very responsive, whether a phone call, email, or text message, and comments on Facebook if it's a question. And throughout the last week or two, as things ramp up for SICK week, there's been dozens or hundreds of questions about fuel and hotels and everything else. And as I go answer one, I scroll up and Derek has beat me to it. So I don't know if he just sits at home waiting for questions, which I know he does not, but he's certainly on it every last single minute of the day, it seems like.
Well, you're doing something right when Brian Lones comes out and speaks highly of you. Right. Brian Lones is just also one of the best announcers, and just to have him speak up for Derek speaks a lot of volume. That he knows what he's doing when he's on that mic.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes and by him working with you and with others, but with you at South Georgia Motorsports Park, I mean, it just goes to show it's a great fit. You have a great track, good family atmosphere. The staff and crew work really well, from not only with each other but with the racers. We've interviewed several people this year who's won a lot at your track over the past couple of years, represented your track and all that stuff, and talk nothing but just fantastic about the efforts that y'all put in. So I think it's your hard work is definitely it's showing.
Thank you.
And there's other associations and other series that are working their way toward your track. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I believe one of them is Southeast Gassers. That's coming in March.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not completely convinced that I know what I got into, because I assume Southeast Gassers, it's another gasser organization. But let me tell you, just about every other post that we put on is something to do with them because of the response we've had. They seem to have a huge following, and I would not be surprised if the seats are at the capacity because of the amount of messages and phone calls that we've had regarding the Southeast Gassers and the excitement that's buzzing out there about them coming to South Georgia.
Yep. I've talked to Rocky of Southeast Gassers and Miss Renee of Southeast Gassers. They both work for them and stuff. And I told them, I said, you're going to love the track. I said, you're absolutely going to love it. And they said, that's all we've ever heard is that it's really, really good. And I said, people are nice. And I said, yeah. And I said, it has a down-home feel to it when you come around here. I mean, you could tell the professionalism of it, but I said it has that feel. And so they're looking forward to it. And they're looking forward to going really quick.
I mean, we met with them yesterday for the last time, and we'll meet on a regular basis, whether Zoom meeting or phone calls. And they're excited to come down here. Says it hasn't had that much buzz about one particular race in a very long time. So it seems like their racers and their fans are reaching out to them as well, because we probably get 2 out of 10 phone calls. It all goes straight to them, and whether it's a question about lodging or restaurants or coming in on a specific day. But we get a lot on our end as well, inquiring about the Southeast Gassers. And much to my surprise, to be honest with you, I don't come from that world. I've never, short of buying, SGMP and having one last year, I hadn't been to a gasser race, and it's very impressive what those guys have put on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is a total show from the cars that they race and the I think there's 5 different categories: A gas, B gas, C gas. What's the other one?
H gas, super
Yeah,
stock,
H gas and super
and
yeah.
AFX.
Okay.
Yeah. Some really great classes, close racing. When you sit in the stands and you're watching these cars, you're experiencing what went on in the 60s with drag racing. I mean, they got the backup girls out there, and I mean, it's just a wonderful show for all. You're taking a journey back in time
Yep.
for a day.
1967. Just remember, heads up, 4-speed, no rev limiters, and that's all you need to know. And that's it. All the classes. They're the exact
Clocks
same.
off, from what I understand.
Do what?
Clocks are off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clocks are off. Mitchell and I are pretty familiar with what they run because we know a lot of the racers that run in it. and it's impressive. It's very impressive. And so I think you're going to enjoy it, but it's going to be a really cool addition to South Georgia this year. But I mean, you got everything going on from motorcycles to no time racing to truck racing. Of course, I'm talking heads up stuff. I mean, you got so much going on. Are people just calling you all the time with different ideas or different events?
I had a call yesterday for a carnival on March 2nd. We have a bracket race that weekend, and I says, okay, we've got one, but our facility's designed where we could have 2 or 3 events at the same time. Bring it. And I gave them our price, and we're going back and forth on that. And so they want to do a 1-day carnival in our guest parking lot. He says he needs about 10 acres, including parking, and we've got 350 acres, and that's why. So the circle track hasn't come back. The mud pit we just built, and that's one of the many reasons I bought this place, because of its potential. It's never been named a drag strip. It's not South Georgia, drag strip or quarter mile motorsports park. It's a motorsports park, and I intend to fully develop it, not only with racing but lodging and just state of the art facility. The drawback is it's my wife and I, and we're not hedge fund owned, and we're not corporate owned, and we're not publicly traded, so the funds are limited to some degree. And it's not about what we have or don't have, it's what we want to prioritize. And we put a pretty penny into this place already, and moving forward, we've got to be very careful as to what gives us a better return on our investment. We've got our foot in the door owning a facility now. Now we've got to slowly develop it into what we envision it to look like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So
makes sense. Your rate of return.
Yes, sir.
And it totally makes sense. You don't want to be upside down with something like that, and that's wise. And like you just mentioned, some of the additions that Mitchell and I noticed, and a lot of the racers told us, was the additional power that you put in the pit areas, so that people can have shoreline hookups for their RVs and stuff. They can reserve a spot, pay ahead for a spot, and get that, which is a fantastic addition. Yeah. Not to mention the camping sites that you have in the back by the mud pits. And the mud park that you have. And I cannot believe the pictures and the people that showed up, and the fun and just the entertainment that people had of all ages. Yeah. And so that's a really welcome addition over there. So we like what you've done.
Thank you.
You've branched out, and everything that we've heard from different people has been positive. That people that's never been to the track, and they show up for one event or another, just like you said, adding a carnival and stuff like that. And it really means a lot. So it's appreciated. And I think the community is responding with the efforts that you're putting in.
I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people are seeing through us and realizing, okay, these guys are really about it. The first month was, they're on their honeymoon phase. Oh, this guy talks a lot. Or, they're saying this, because we're very active on social media, or at least try to be. But almost 2 years into it now, this team hasn't stopped, and it's not going to stop. We're moving forward, full speed ahead, and we're nowhere near, Robert, what we intend to South Georgia look like 10 years from now. We're going to spend a lot of money in this place. We're going to resurrect it. Not that it was ever dead, but it wasn't run as often as we run it. As you know, I bought it from Ozzie Maria Moya in Orlando, and they, blessed us with the opportunity to run with it. And they can't be in 2 places at one time. At the time, they owned 3 facilities when we first started, speaking about purchasing SGMP. And
like this person watching right here, he's excited about the showers.
Yeah, that's been a very big hit. And what happens, Mitchell, is that we were racers, and I travel with my wife and kids, and there's certain things that we look forward to in a facility, and that was one of them. And I'm
Yep.
not a genius by any by any stretch of the imagination. I just do a lot of homework. I've been to a lot of places. I've been racing for over 30 years, and I'm trying to take what has worked for us as racers and a family when we travel to places. I mean, we'll go to Disney World, we'll go to Universal Studios, and I'll get ideas from there. We're in the entertainment business, and whatever they do, I stock our local theme park, Wild Adventures, all the time, and call it what you want, but I'm learning from other facilities and what they provide to their guests by being successful. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just have to perfect what I've got going on down here, and that's what we're doing. We rinse in a motorhome, and hurry up, you can't take long because you have 40, 50 gallons of water if you're lucky, and you're racing with 3 or 4 buddies, and you can't sit in there for 5, 10 minutes like you want to after a long day on the racetrack.
Right.
So what do? We built 4 showers, and it's been a huge hit. Very, very good. It's free of charge. We're not charging. No one seems to be taking advantage of. They're not destroying it. So as long as that stays feasible for us, it's going to be free of charge.
That's really good.
I know one thing that's got a lot of people happy, and that's the Ford fans. When NMCA decided to close, you came up and said, "Hey, we'll have the Spring Break Nationals right here at South Georgia Motorsports Park." And I mean, it was the buzz for a while, and I'm still seeing stuff.
I'll tell you, I was walking around the entire property at the time. We were still dealing with the devastation of the hurricane. I had over 300 trucks on the property. We had no reception in most places. But when I saw that come in, that NMRA was not coming back, I drove the property looking for reception to try to get a post up as quickly as possible before folks lost their drive to travel south for the spring break, events that they traditionally used to travel to, whether it was Bradenton, Orlando, and then at the end in Gainesville. I raced NMRA. And I know the joy that brings to a lot of people, where you only see those folks once or twice a year during the NMRA events, whether it be in Kentucky or Norwalk or in Florida when they had it, so I didn't want that to go. And to be honest, frankly, to be in a position to be able to change that is just a blessing. I'm in a position to where, hey guys, stop. No, it's not dying. It's not going to be called NMRA, but bring it on down. We'll provide and give you exactly what you used to have and then some. So it's just a blessing to be in this position.
Right. And you're also still hosting the Mod Nationals as well?
Yes. So they previously used to race at SGMP, and they traveled down to Bradenton for the last 2 years. And after this last event in November, him and I started talking, and we've been friends. I raced the first Mod Motor Nationals in Memphis about 8 or 9 years ago, whatever his first one was. I was part of that. I traveled 15 hours in a motorhome and trailer, and took our Mod Motor Mustang down there, and that's how I met Justin, and him and I have stayed friends ever since. I, at the time, didn't think I'd ever own a racetrack, and when he moved it to Bradenton, he had no idea we were buying the racetrack, but then again, neither did I, and over time, it just made perfect sense. He lost a couple of racers because Bradenton's that much far south, and realistically, it's only 4 hours, right? But there's a big difference in driving 4 hours and 8 hours, or 6 hours and 10 hours.
Exactly.
So they did lose a little bit of that momentum, and with us being up here and him feeling comfortable and everything that Bradenton's got going on, Justin Young felt we were the right fit.
Yep, that's well, you do have your hands full. Gee whiz. But that's a great thing. I mean, for motorcycles, I mean, like you said, you keep the track very, very active. And the fact that people are reaching out to you to join with it and stuff like that, it's like it really surprised me that answered my question that I was going to lead to for the NMRA and stuff like that. That you just explained how it happened. And so I'm glad to see, we don't run Fords, but I'm so glad to see somebody supporting that race.
There are many things that happen behind the scenes that, the world doesn't know of. Like, we've got Black Widow, Ford, and Chevy on the property shooting commercials this week. They had to suspend it till tomorrow, but there's 2 brand new trucks on the property. They're shooting commercials. Moody Air Force Base was supposed to be here yesterday to do some training exercises at our facility. And we stay very active, not only weekends, but weekdays as well. And it's a blessing, and it could still get busier. We wish we were testing 4 or 5 days a week during the week, because that's what pays the bills. And we don't have that yet. We still haven't found that niche with pro mod teams and small radio racing. We get private testing here and there, but not like some other tracks in the Southeast. And that's something I like to explore moving forward.
Now, another event that you have coming up real soon, and that's Lights Out, Ducks X Productions. I tell you what, it's No Mercy there in October, and then we come around to February, it's Lights Out 16. And I tell you what, man, Donald brings in some racers now. And if anybody's been paying attention, we've got a lot of drivers like Murder Nova that's going to be there. And more from No Prep Kings and Street Outlaw drivers that are going to be participating. That's going to actually help bring out a large crowd to the facility. And I have noticed that it seems like Lights Out brings a little bit more spectator base than No Mercy does, but they are both great events.
Yeah, it definitely brings a lot more than a little bit, actually. It's our bigger hit through every season. It's over 30% more sales happen at Lights Out than it does at No Mercy. And we can't figure out why, No Mercy's at the end of a lot of folks' season. There's a lot of cars that are broken or can't make the trip. Everyone goes into the winter, except for, Georgia and Florida for the most part, or parts of Georgia. And I guess everyone is ready to go early in the season, whether it be late January or February. And we expect a large crowd, not only from these other guys that are coming from No Prep Kings, but just traditionally. I can tell you right now, the pictures you're putting up are No Mercy. Number one, the way they're dressed, and number two, the stands. In the stands, it'll be packed if it were Lights Out. And then obviously in February, not most folks are in T-shirts and shorts. So that's
that's true.
Whether it's record-breaking weather, if it's not, terribly cold in the mornings and 30s at night, it sets the atmosphere and the environment for very good, fast cars.
Oh yeah, when you can look at door cars running 680, not 680s, but 380s in the 8th mile. I mean, it's just unreal. 215, 225 miles an hour is just amazing to watch. And of course, I even like the other classes. Get away from Radio versus the World, but talk about the limited drag radial, 275, the no time truck class. A lot of people don't understand those trucks, even though those boards are off, those trucks are absolutely flying, and they're right at 4 seconds. I'll just put it like that. Most of them are right there at the cutoff at 4 seconds. 4 seconds is extremely fast for 8th mile racing, and especially in a truck.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, Donald does a phenomenal job of including a lot of folks. You've got 6.0 index at Lights Out, in Dover. But you don't have to have a $300,000 race car to participate. I ran Lights Out probably 6 years ago with a relatively slow street car, and it fit the rules, and we ran out there and had a great time. And looking back, it's crazy. I get goosebumps because my wife filmed us pulling into the Lights Out in our RV, and we're pulling into the biggest race of the year. We're going to have so much fun. And 6-7 years later, we have the keys to the place. It's amazing how our life has turned in that direction. And I always thought I'd own something like this, but never in a million years that I think we'd, be able to pull it off this early and this effectively.
Well, I know Greg Blevins. He's very happy with South Georgia Motorsports Park because he was able to clinch the championship there at No Mercy to finish up. And boy, he was extremely happy. And I tell you what, he is a super, super nice guy, and it couldn't happen to anybody better for winning that class. But you look at the people that are there racing. you have Lyle Barnett. I think Lyle was running three classes at No Mercy.
Yeah.
Just amazing how to run three different class cars at a track, and just think about how difficult that is.
And be competitive in all of them.
Oh yeah, and be very competitive. Yes, and you got Kiefer Simpson, who drives the red, white, and blue Mustang, just a beautiful car. Manny Bojinga. I mean, just some really
Stevie
great
Fast.
guys out there.
You can't say nothing without saying Stevie Fast. I mean,
oh yeah, Stevie Fast.
That's kind of just a given,
But
Stevie
Stevie wasn't able to race at No Mercy, but I'm hoping that he will be there for Lights Out.
But they won Radio versus the World with the Shadow.
Yep.
Right.
Sure
yes.
did. And he also took flight with one too.
Yeah.
And that right there is an amazing video to watch of him talking about that, seeing the in car and everything. Like
I was on the property in the suites when that happened.
Yeah.
We're
So
on site that year.
it's a testimony to the safety of cars like that, but also the facility, have people on staff, obviously, right there to take care of anything that was needed, and him being safe and sound, which was good. But
well, I want to put this out there. I know a lot of people, they probably go to the Gator Nationals and they've never been to one of Duck X promotion events. And I tell you, you need to go. You need to go experience it one time. I mean, it's totally amazing. It's mind blowing of the cars and the speeds that they actually run. It's got to head to South Georgia Motorsports Park and buy those tickets.
That and all our tickets are full access to the pits. I had a call today from Wisconsin. He says, "Oh, I bought an admission pass to Sick Week, but how do I upgrade it to get pit access?" And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Oh, I want to see the drivers. I want to be near them." I says, "Buddy, you're going to be able to shake hands everywhere you go into our properties. You can engage with the racers. You can come right up to their pits. Of course, don't encroach in it or walk into their pits because they're working on cars. But you're going to get up close and personal with a general admission ticket, and that's real nice to have. We don't separate them. They're able to walk through the pits and meet and greet whoever they want to meet."
You probably surprised them with that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
And I also want to mention, people come there, they need to spend their money a little bit. Go buy you some merch. Get you a shirt or T-shirt from one of the drivers, or from South Georgia Motorsports Park. Get you a South Georgia Motorsports Park T-shirt. So I actually picked up a T-shirt for my son. My son couldn't go because I was actually there on the wall taking photos and stuff and interviewing some of the drivers back in October. And I got the shirt here. Man, he absolutely loved it. But he said it's still not as good as going to the track.
Yeah, but every piece of merchandise or concessions helps Mitchell. It takes a lot to run a racetrack, and I know firsthand now. And everything, I mean, if I were to tell people what we take home after, all is said and done, they'd be surprised. Or they think I'm crazy for doing what I do and being as enthused and as motivated to do this. I can't think of any track owner in the country that does it for the money. Because at least at our facility, everything, I can't say everything, we take a little bit of piece home, but the majority of everything that comes in gets put right back into the racetrack. And I promise you, we're living very well below the average income in Georgia or the country, and then we're doing that because we want to pour it back into South Georgia. And like an example, that merchandise you mentioned, we have a merchandise trailer. Well, I want to have a store. I went to one facility where they've got a store dedicated to merchandise, and they've got an employee in there. And then you walk in, and it's like walking into Macy's, but it's all drag racing related. I'd love to have a building that you could walk into, and air conditioning with lights and shelves and hangers and purses and everything else in there. And that's one of many things we're going to strive to do.
Now, I'll tell you something else that you got really good there. The food.
Yes.
The food is excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I got me a hamburger and I was like blown away. I mean, it was delicious.
Yeah. Aside from our concessions, so we've had a restaurant in the past, so we have an idea of what we're doing as far as
okay.
Our scores have been through the roof with the county health inspector. We've got 100 every last time. We've been inspected 3 times already, or 4 times. I want to say it's every 6 months. and it's always been 100. Our cook is very good. It's always the same personnel. But aside from that, like this weekend, we'll have Sweet Tea's barbecue on site. We'll have Don Julio's Mexican cuisine on site, and we'll have Doughboy's Pizza. Aside from our concessions, that has Philly cheesesteak, fried Oreos, ice cream, you name it, we sell it. Whether it's one of our vendors or our concession, and they typically do pretty well. We'll have a ton of hot chocolate. I hope my wife ordered enough hot chocolate for this weekend.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need
it.
You're going to need that and a coffee, like just nonstop.
Yeah.
But you see, that's good. You see, once again, the fact that you said that you've been involved with restaurants and stuff like that, and by you being a racer yourself, it's those things. I mean, the showers, being able to get in and out of a track, being able to hear the intercom, being able to eat, all that matters.
Yeah, I go back to, I'm a big listener and I do a lot of homework. And it's funny you say that about, quality of the food, but I don't know, probably 20 years ago, there was a sale that happened down the street from the house. A big truck stop sold, and I got to know the owners, and I would frequent it, regularly, or visit regularly. And we became friends, and it was a truck stop that was run down. And the first thing he did was rebuilt the restaurant, put a tiki hut, and brought in a bar, and he sold very good food. And he says every trucker's on the road for 7, 8, 10, 12 hours. And when they sit down, they don't mind spending a little more for a quality, steak or chicken or pasta. So everything he did there was nothing like any truck stop you'd see in the country. And sure enough, 6 months later, 7 months later, the place is jam-packed, not only with truckers, but the local community would go dine at this truck stop because the food was so good. And my motto at SGMP, and I've done it with different businesses, is build it and they will come. It's a little corny, is a field of dreams, but it's the truth. Whatever we build there, if we do it right, they're going to come.
That's true. I like that. I'm waiting for somebody to have, at some tracks we went to, my dad and I always joked, he said if they had a Waffle House food truck there on site, it would do all the quick meals and stuff like that and coffee and make a killing. And I'm not saying it's South Georgia. I'm just referring to any track.
Yeah.
I'm like going, oh my goodness, if you just had this and a couple chairs around. Yeah. And, we've all been to a track where there's very, very sparse at best.
Right.
And you're starving. So it's like, but I mean, you also have your bracket program, which is going very, very strong. Okay. So that's coming back again this year. You have many index races coming up. You have, like we've been talking about, some no time racing coming up, grudge racing coming up. I'm quite honestly losing track. I mean, I got a big old checkoff list, and it's like
bounty hole racing, dirt drags. We have it all. We have it all. Short of the circle track, which I promise we're going to bring back here real soon. We've got a lot going on, and it's all in part to that sponsor you've got there in the corner of your screen, Robert. I'm not sure how everyone sees it, but Zach and Scorpion Racing Products, they support us and several other racetracks and other programs. And it's because of people like that. Today we announced Sick the Mag came on board as a sponsor. Lee Sparks Electrical came on as a sponsor. And it's extremely important that these companies support us because it ultimately supports them as well if they're in the race industry. Scorpion has his customers race at our facility. They break, they buy more parts from him. He supports us. We stay in business. Everyone's happy. And some organizations don't see it. And that's probably my biggest battle is trying to get sponsors on board. And don't get me wrong, we've been blessed. You can see behind me in the screen there, from Wright Trailers, VL Fabrication. I have a realtor in town that supports us, that has been supporting us from day one. And the list goes on and on. Summit, Motion Raceworks, TBM Brakes, VP Fuels. They do a phenomenal job in supporting us. So we've been blessed, but it's an uphill struggle. I've got probably 30 sponsors on board, and I promise you I've made more than 300 phone calls, to prospective sponsors. So,
Right.
Well, I want to talk about something that's really big. It was announced at PRI.
Yes, sir.
In December, and I think this is a really great thing for your track, and that is the Peach State Showcase of Speed that will take place on October 24th and 25th of this year. Tell us a little bit about how this all came about.
So I just got a random phone call from I'd like to say the vice president of the NHRA about 6 months ago about the idea. And as him and his head of marketing described what it was, and I understood it because I've gone to other facilities that host something similar to this. And I said, well, this is what it sounds like. He says, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. We're trying to bring the pro drivers to a smaller market. You know, you're not Atlanta, you're not Miami, you're not Sonoma, you're not, you know, a place that has 4 million folks in the area, but your fan base deserves it, and we feel there's a niche there. There's a product we could offer. You know, we'd like to do this one-off race at your facility because we feel you're a good fit. You know, you're a quarter mile, you're centrally located to a lot of major cities. You know, we've got Atlanta 3 hours away, Orlando's 3 hours away, Tallahassee an hour and a half. You can pull from Jacksonville with just over 2 hours. So they felt there's a ton of potential and want to try to bring these pro names, these big names, Top Fuel, you know, Funny Car, Pro Stock, to a market that doesn't have it and has never had it. And like anything else, the industry changes, and this may be the way of the future. We don't know. They're going to try it with me. They're very happy with what we've done as well. And I'll be honest, I've been at Chihuahua since we bought the place, and I've told every other racetrack owner or track operator, you know, we want whatever best race you have, we want at South Georgia. Please don't get offended. If your bracket races are 400 cars, you know, a day, I want 450 cars. It's just what I strive for. I don't strive for second best. And what's better than a national event? So from the get-go, I've been after our division director, and any opportunity I had with, you know, NHRA to bring it to their attention and say, and not because it's fine. I honestly believe we have the potential to host such a big event, like so Showcase of Speed, because the size of our facility, we're on 800,000 square feet of asphalt parking. We're right off of I-75. We could pull from different, you know, areas in the southeast. So I didn't buy a backwoods track that's only 8 mile long, and I'm wanting NHRA to come here for a national event. You know, we've got all the bones there. Are there improvements that need to be made? Absolutely, but I'll do that. I'm willing to spend another couple of $1 million to bring in more bleachers and suites and whatever it is I have to do, because that's something that I do for the future. You know, if we ever get a national event, God, look how long Gainesville's had it, you know, and it'll be under my decision whether it stays open or not. You know, Atlanta sold a couple of years ago. That was an executive decision. This comes down to me. If I want to have it here for the next 40 years, we'll have it here. And, you know, Gator National started at some point. Why can't SGMP start at some point? And to give our fans the opportunity to not only see it, but our racers to participate in an event like this and race alongside of these big names in the industry, you know, what more can you ask for? I think it's going to be a big hit. Pre-sales are doing great. They're very optimistic. I have huge news. And because I have a partnership with NHRA in this deal, I have to be respectful of what we publish. But a local Florida organization company just joined us as the presenting sponsor. I'm sorry, the title sponsor, the main sponsor, the Showcase of Speed. And I am thrilled to announce it and ecstatic that they've come on board. And you all know them very well. But out of respect for NHRA, they don't even know it yet. They don't. So as much as I'd love to disclose it here and right now,
you had me. You had me, Raul. Come on.
And it allows it gives me the reassurance that we're doing something right. You know, all the hours we spend, the sacrifices we're making. Let's not sugarcoat it. I've devoted the rest of my life to working at a racetrack every weekend. That's a tough pill to swallow if you think about your children, your grandchildren. You know, you don't have birthday celebrations or weddings on a Tuesday night. You have them on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so we've sacrificed the majority of our weekends to drag racing, and that's something we don't bat an eye to do. We enjoy it, but it does come with a sacrifice, you know. So a lot of things, how bad do you want it? What are you willing to give up to achieve your goals? And that's something my wife and I have sacrificed. And without hesitation, we know we've made the right decision when we get supported by companies like we did today to say, you know what, we've got your back. We believe in your product. We believe in what you're doing. Let's do this together. And it's not an uphill battle, my wife and I by ourselves. We've got, all those folks behind us, the racers that show up. This weekend, we'll have 400 plus registered vehicles on Monday and Tuesday at Sick Week. It tells you, okay, maybe we're doing something right, and maybe people do appreciate what it is we're doing. And it's nice.
Well, one of the things I like about the Peach Showcase that you're having is, a lot of people watch the funny cars and Top Fuel cars on TV, and they never have, experienced it sitting in the stands. It's a whole different dynamic.
Yeah.
Just feeling the car go down the track is just amazing when you speak of the Top Fuel and funny cars. And I want to say there's going to be a pair of funny cars, a pair of Top Fuel. You're going to have 4 Pro Stock motorcycles and 4 Pro Stock cars
Yes.
that will be coming up and performing for an audience. And I think it's a really good idea. And I think it also helps not just you, but it helps the NHRA to drive up interest of maybe some of these people want to become members of NHRA. Maybe after seeing it, they do want to see a national event. So it's a big win-win for both your facility and for the NHRA, I do believe. And I tell you what, I know you probably don't have the names now, but we can't wait to hear who the drivers are that's going to be coming and participating.
Yeah, several letters of intent have gone out, and we're on the verge of confirming or releasing, the lineup. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves either, but there's a lot of other things that are going to be associated to this, these selected group of drivers. We're going to bring in some, your local racers are going to be able to participate. We're wanting to bring in juniors as well, but we've got to strategically decide how we do this. Similar to the circle track, guys. I don't come from that world, so whenever we do open it, we have to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's, because when the spectators come in and we don't have our ducks in a row, they're not going to come back. So I don't do anything with a one and done mentality. So We're very carefully, very strategically coming up with a race program, and this is something we work on every day. We meet on a regular basis. I mean, there were 9 of us, I want to say 8 or 9 of us on a Zoom call last week. And we're going to be on another one next week. NHRA is spending a lot of time working with me and Bill Bader from Norwalk, which I've partnered with and I've hired as my consultant. They all spend a lot of time working on this showcase of speed because it just may be a big part of the future in drag racing. It takes a lot of time and money to put on a national event. You can't just assume a national event is going to be a big hit in South Georgia. So you do a showcase of speed or something similar to it to see how the fans react, how the sales go, how the sponsorship goes. If we get, partners to join us and make it a successful event. And this is a home run. I promise you, we're going to head toward a national event in the near future because it benefits everybody, not necessarily near Gainesville as far as scheduling, but there's 12 months in the year. And I mean, we can't run today because it was 27 degrees, but 2 weekends ago it was 58 degrees and it was beautiful. So there's plenty of time throughout the year that we could space it far enough from Gainesville where it'd be profitable and effective for everybody. Now, if they don't come out and support us, so one of the things, I ask a lot of questions. I throw a lot of teasers and I ask a lot of, I like to engage with our fans, and they've always wanted some sort of, similar event to Gator Nationals, Top Fuel, funny cars. Well, they're getting it. Yeah, they're not getting 16 of them or 20 of them, but you've got to walk before you could run. And if they support us, it's the obvious move to make in the future to have it here in their backyard. But they've got to come out. I could yap all I want. If the fans and spectators don't come out and buy, their camper sites and their admission, and it's relatively affordable. I'm talking they're $45, $90 for the entire weekend, $300. And what sold the most so far are VIP tickets, believe it or not. They're
really?
$300 or $329, and it includes VIP parking. It includes admission and includes 2 meals a day, lunch and dinner provided free of charge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
By talking about the Peach Showcase, it kind of reminds me of the old days. It's going to kind of look like a match racing
Yeah.
going on. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, we're working on a grand marshal. We're working on a lot of things. There's other organizations that we're in conversations with to have their, winners race against other organizations as a showcase here as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot that go on behind the scenes to put something like this together. And I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much because I'm learning from the best in the industry, both Bill Bader and his family in Norwalk and NHRA. I met with the president, with the vice president, head of marketing today. We're building a sponsorship deck. I mean, there's a lot that goes on, and I'm learning from them day by day.
Well, I know me and Robert both are really excited about this for you and your facility. And of course, the people there around Adel and Cecil and Valdosta to, just have to hop in the car and just drive up 10 minutes and boom, you're there to, witness this. That's the greatest thing about it for them. Yeah. I know we'll do whatever we can do on our end to help promote what's going on at South Georgia Motorsports Park, just like we usually do. If I see a flyer that's out there for your track or any other facility, it gets put on our page to just try to spread the word that much more. And I'll tell you what, I will be there.
Thank you.
I will be there.
That's my plan too.
I think it's going to be really, really great.
It's going to be exciting. It's something to look forward to. I mean, we're going to the Sega race to watch that. We're going bracket racing this year up there. I think Mitchell, you're going to try to get the lights out, I believe.
Yes, I gotta talk to Donald Long this week or maybe next and see about getting media credentials, which I tell you the truth, I went ahead and I paid for my ticket and then I went and got the media credentials. I don't mind paying. Right. I think that I'm okay with paying and be able to get media credentials and go down there and take pictures. I mean, just being able to do that is an honor for our podcast and our Facebook page.
Yeah, so, and I'm trying to check my schedule on several of the races. I mean, Mitchell, like you, we're all crazy busy. Oh yeah, we're looking forward to that and the Peach State race, and there's a lot. You have a lot going on, and we're really looking forward to this year.
And I can't believe that they've given me the opportunity. They found something or believe in me, and I can't thank them enough. And that's all I ask. Like Donald Long as well from the get-go. He kept this place afloat for a long time. And I asked him for one thing and one thing only is the opportunity. And he can't be happier with what we've provided. They come now and drop off bins and tell us we want this, this, and this. And that's my job. We're going to get it done. We do this 7 days a week, and he's enjoying the services we've provided to him and his family. They unfortunately got hit with a hurricane this year right before No Mercy. It came up through the Tampa region and then hit us, and we had no power till the day before we opened our gates. And he came up for a day and felt comfortable, and he headed home, and he was able to stay down there for 3 days as he took care of that. Imagine leaving your house the day after a hurricane floods it. You've got 2 feet of water, 3 feet of water in your house. You're completely devastated. You lose a ton of your clothes and personal belongings. And you have to go attend a race. It's a big part of his life, but the family first, and that's his well-being down there. And he trusts us enough to be able to run the facility, and he couldn't have been happier when he came back and saw everything in order, exactly what he needed, what he wanted. Because ultimately, it's his show. When he walks into town, we give him the keys, and he does what he needs to do, and we're a support system. And just the opportunity that he gave us, we've run with, and we're going to do the same with NHRA Peach State. I promise you it's going to be a heck of a show. We're already talking, fireworks. I mean, we've got it down to, is it 4 minutes, or is it 8 minutes, or is it 9 minutes? There's a lot that goes on, with details like that.
Yeah, you got a lot to cover.
Go ahead, Robert. Sorry.
No. I said you had a lot to cover, and what I was going to go into next, you mentioned it, but something a lot of people just don't realize, but Mitchell and I did. It's like when the hurricane came through. When the hurricane came through, it skirted up Tampa and up the west coast of Florida, and a lot of people don't realize that it went through and did a lot of damage in Georgia on its way up to North Carolina to my family's area, which had devastation from the hurricane. So what people don't realize is the community around the track was out of power for quite a while. Local community power companies and journeymen coming from out of town were needing places for basically a lay down yard, staging and stuff like that. With your crew getting ready for opening up for one of Duck's races, you opened up a huge section of the property for utility companies to come lay down their equipment to help the surrounding area. Okay, so a lot of people don't realize that. So you just open your doors and you're like, here, and you were doing everything you can to help those crews that come in who don't know you from nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but you were doing your best to look out for the community, not only helping everybody around, but literally the community, people that might not even know the track exists, but you're still trying to help them. And then, like what you did, I believe it was yesterday or day before yesterday when it snowed there. I mean, just opening up the gates to go sledding down the hill. Just open it up to the community. Just doing a Facebook post and saying, hey, if you're in the area, you want to have some fun, be safe, but come on out. Bring the kids, bring the family. So I'm saying that shows just a little giving back, just a little something simple, just giving back and just understanding that it's the little things that mean a lot. So I don't know if everybody that hears this knew of that, of at least one of those things. So I just wanted to share with people. And Mitchell and I and others appreciate that because I work for a power company myself. So I've worked a lot of storm outages and things like that. And have been at staging facility, places where it's staged and, you're there all hours of the day and night and there's nothing there or there's some things there. Just the little things.
Yeah. And it ultimately comes down to doing the right thing. We're
Agreed.
very blessed physically, mentally, financially to be in this position. So why not bless others? And it's happened to me a dozen times. I forget what happened the other day and something, what was it? If I could think of it. But anyhow, and someone said, "Oh, you're lucky." I says, "No, I'm not lucky. I just do what's right. And oftentimes things happen that benefit me. It's just, if I lose my wallet, 99% of the time, someone's going to turn it in with my money in it, my credit cards and everything else. And it's just, it's what happens to me on a regular basis, because if I were to find a suitcase with something that doesn't belong to me, it's going to go to the right person or turn into the police department. It's just, you do the right thing and it just comes around to benefit you 10 times more for whatever reason.
Agreed. Totally agree.
You know what it was? We were letting the commercials. They called us last minute from Whittle, the trucks that were being filmed tomorrow. And I was super nice to the guy and appreciative and this and that. It snows. I go to the racetrack yesterday morning and I start doing donuts for content on my old truck. The guy comes up and he says, "Do you want me to take video?" I said, "Yeah, here's my phone." He goes, No. I've got a drone. I've got video from one of the best, editors in the Southeast in my email, ready to publish here on social media whenever I get a chance to mess with it. So the guy says, "You know why that happens? Because I helped you get into South Georgia, and I'm working with him. Like, I had to open early, and we're staying late for him, and this, that." Like, he felt so happy and blessed that I was allowing him to do all that stuff, that he offered his services. And I says, "I was good to you, and look what happens. Now I've got a free photographer on the property, and it can't be any better than what he's doing." So we have a drone from two different angles of my old 49 Ford going down the drag strip, covered in ice and snow. And I couldn't have done that without.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
And it turns out he's helping me more than I'm helping him, and I helped him without any other intention. And that happens all the time.
And I want to say, man, that is a beautiful pickup.
Yeah.
It really
I haven't seen it yet. I saw the dash. I saw plenty of the dash, but I haven't seen the outside of it yet. But I like that video. You drive into the track, and I'm looking, is that him? And, I didn't know if you posted it from somebody else. And, of course, you get there and see you get out and unlock the gates. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Social media is a blessing, but it could be a handful as well. And I don't like to be as public I'm a lot more vocal or public than I care to be, but I have to. It comes with the territory. I can't promote a race without promoting it. I have to get it out there. And I can't talk about my facility and invite folks over without talking about it. So I'm often on social media, and I've become accustomed to it at this point to some degree. The hurricane hit, I jumped on my four-wheeler and I put my phone here and I did the same, I forget what it's called, time-lapse video. And I started recording. And I went, I mean, that would have really, really caught a lot of people's attention because it took me, I want to say it was like 2 hours to get to the racetrack, and I'm 10 miles away. I had to go through backyards and ravines and over trees and my four-wheeler, because I brought it strategically to the house, knowing if we lose, being from the South, I know the first things that go down are trees and all the roads are blocked. I knew I wouldn't be able to get there in my car and even my side-by-side. So I brought a four-wheeler from the racetrack to purposely go the following morning to the racetrack to see what's going on, knowing No Mercy's around the corner. And the areas I went through were incredible. But when I got to the racetrack that I put play, it recorded from my garage to my driveway. I guess that the minute I hit something, it stopped recording and I couldn't record anything. And the whole time I thought I was getting footage of everything. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going to make great content. And I got to the racetrack so disappointed 2 hours later that it didn't record anything. It went from my garage to my driveway and that's it.
Oh, man.
But I'll tell you what, your crew.
Yeah, and I didn't touch it, and it got a pretty cool video.
You and your crew, y'all worked y'all's tails off to get that facility ready for No Mercy.
Yeah, we did.
Y'all busted it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Like I said, you had everything going. The gas pumps were messed up and trying to get everything cleared up and cleared out and just the track clean because everything that washed in on the track was unreal.
And I'll tell you, that's something that's heavily over me right now is that roof is still laying there on the ground on the side of the property because of the insurance claim. We have, property insurance, and we're going back and forth with them. That's another problem, So you deal with all sorts of stuff as a track owner and homeowner and anything else, but that's still there, and that's eating me up alive because if I see a piece of paper, I pick it up. And here we've got a 40 by 40 structure laying on the ground right at the entrance to the facility. But it is what it is. Some things are just out of your control, and I've got to go through the process.
Everybody knows what y'all went through, and so it's not a problem with anybody coming out to the track.
Yeah,
and they're just happy that nothing else really got severely damaged, and everyone's able to race.
Yeah.
Now there's one other thing that's coming up in October that's going to happen around Halloween weekend. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I'd love to. So we're on pins and needles when I pulled the trigger last year. And I pulled it fairly late, but you've got to do it at some point. Like I said, Gator Nationals had their first Gator Nationals at some point. We are really enjoying our bracket racers and our bracket families. It's probably the most unsuspecting thing buying the racetrack that we're enjoying it as much. I don't come from this world. I didn't know, what a breakout was and what Super Pro is and Pro No Box and everything else. So I did hire Ray Williams, which is doing a great job out of Thomasville. But the more we do it, the more we learn it. And now we're becoming friends with these people that we know by first name basis. And so aside from the bracket series, which runs 6 or 7 months out of the year, I wanted to do something. And we guaranteed. So I did a lot of homework, like I said, I do on a lot of things. And I realized I have to guarantee a pot for folks to want to travel to a big money bracket race. And I call it big money because for us, it's big money. It was $116,000. It was a 10, 20, 20 that it paid. Well, there's millions out there and 50, 50, 50 and everything else. So compared to that, I get it's not. But we're on pins and needles because if I say something, I promise you, we're going to do it. And guaranteeing a payout and not happening is the death of any racetrack or any promoter. So right. I knew that money needed to be guaranteed in order for this to work. And sales went off and they're okay. And some racers were like, oh, it's going to sell out in 2 days. Well, it didn't. Matter of fact, it never sold out. We got just over 200 entries, I want to say 203 entries, which was satisfactory for the first year. But was most important was the feedback and the experience we gained. We brought in Jimmy Owens to be the race director. He has more experience than Ray Williams has on a national level, and he's run big money bracket races before. He partnered with Ray Williams and us in the tower, and the feedback we got was amazing. People were so happy when they left our facility that they assured us they'd come back. I would venture to say this year's going to sell out, and we're going to cap it at the 300 cars like we intended to last year, just to keep it manageable. I don't care to make another $10,000. If we cap it at 300 and everyone's happy, I'm good with that. I don't want 400 or 450, and we're running till 2 in the morning, which is not even an option up here. But if it were, I wouldn't want to do that. I want folks to finish, to have dinner, to enjoy themselves. And that's what we did. And I'm telling you, no lie. The one complaint was the dial-in boards that don't work that you see right there in the screen over here somewhere. And I've had every expert in the book come out to look at them, and we've swapped them out with other dial-in boards. And for the life of us, we can't figure out how to make them work. But short of that, it was nothing but positive comments and experiences from the racers and how they assured us that they're coming back. And we're having to leave it the same weekend of Halloween this year, which is, I want to say, like the 29th through the 1st of November or 2nd of November. It's going to be a staple in our schedule because we really enjoyed. My wife did scavenger hunts. We had the racer appreciation night. We had a practice tree challenge, and it was. Bracket racing brings a family-friendly environment 100% of the time. It's never a drunk fest. Not that any of my events are, including any other bigger ones. It's not going to happen at our facility. We want it to stay family-oriented. But the camaraderie that bracket racers bring are like nothing else. If you notice, look at the winner circle picture. You're going to see the one runner-up, the person that was out first round, the other kid that lost third round. Everyone goes to the winner circle and celebrates with these guys because they're all friends. They're all friends. They're very competitive. God forbid you make a mistake. They're going to bring it to your attention. They're competitive, but it is an extremely family-oriented environment, and we love that about bracket racers.
That's very true. You said a whole lot. And it's so true. I mean, Mitchell and I, we race each other a lot, and we're very competitive on each other. And but
you're going down this Saturday. You're going down this Saturday.
I know. But and it's like all our friends that we race with at the track. Like anything, I mean, we're all good and buddies and friends and stuff like that. But you're all super competitive, and just like you said, if somebody shows a weakness or a mistake, the other will absolutely capitalize on it. And definitely let you know about it later. But
we've had to learn, and we're not reinventing anything. And we do a lot of research, and what does this facility do, and what does that facility do? And I mean, you can't touch a junior dragster, and a parent bring it to your attention. They touched this and they did that, and go, whoa, time out, what's going on? And that's something that also we reiterate over and over is that, guys, keep in mind this is a hobby. You're not doing it for a living. Keep your cool. Because anything can be taken care of if you address it correctly. The way a message gets delivered is everything. We're never going to disrespect anyone. I never raise my voice. I never cuss or say anything nasty to anyone. And I expect that from my racers as well, or any fan. And there's absolutely a zero tolerance. There's a zero tolerance at SGMP because I am going to hold our racers and our fans to those expectations. We're not going to lower our standards because some guy wants to drink at the starting line and walk sideways back to the water box. It's just not going to be allowed. We're not going to be nasty to one another. And the beauty of owning this place is that it's like having Thanksgiving dinner at your house. You decide who to invite. And if you got a drunk uncle you need to get out and not invite, you're going to do that if they're going to make the environment nasty. I don't have to answer to anybody. I could get rid of anyone at our facility, and I've never had to. But we could do it, and it's nice to know this is how it's going to be, or you're just not going to be part of it. And the majority, if not all of our racers and fans appreciate that because now they could bring their kids. They could bring their 80-year-old mother and not have to listen to the neighbor, at 3 a.m. So that's what we're creating, a family-friendly atmosphere in every last one of our events. And I'll be damned if it isn't exactly that. I'll do
That's
everything I
right.
have to.
That's good to hear. I mean, we've always known that, but it's good to hear the track manager or owner talk about it in that manner. Because we've all been places and you're like going, oh, we don't tolerate this, and then you're literally over their shoulder. You can see
Yeah.
what's going on the starting line. You're like going,
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. So
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. And we've always agreed that the racetrack is a very, very family friendly place.
And don't get me wrong, I'm the first one thinking of a golf cart race or a foot race in between, whether it's rain delays or at the end of racing at night. I love having a good time. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. It's just not for no rhyme or reason. It's just not something I've ever cared for. But I want everyone to have a good time and crack a beer open and enjoy themselves and put their feet up. We deal with enough problems at home and at work to where when you get out to the racetrack, you want to enjoy yourself. But there's always that fine line that there's a difference in enjoying yourself or being reckless.
I agree with you 100%.
Be respectful. Be respectful.
And
Absolutely.
you was talking about keeping the event to 300 cars. I have started seeing a lot of promoters start following that same rule for the same reasons of getting the race finished before it's 8:00 at night. You're not going really late and flirting with the curfew. So I think that's a really good thing that a lot of race promoters are doing now.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you want people to be able to relax at the end of the day and sit back and have dinner and chill out with their friends for a couple hours before having to grab some Z's to get up the next morning to go at it again.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I am just still amazed at all the races that you have scheduled for this year. And I'm sure things are going to be added as the year progresses and the calendar opens up. And then, like you said, and then a carnival coming in. I'm waiting for the skydive show. I'm waiting for the concerts to start and other things, which I know that will happen.
Yeah.
And if it's not on the schedule already, I know that will happen. But
we've had 3 concerts already, and it's only a matter of time before a big name reaches out to us. Like Kid Rock goes to somewhere in Ocala. And I'm thinking, why do they drive right past us? Why can't they stop here? And I just don't know enough people in the industry, or haven't known in the past. And now we're starting to get our names out there, and there was another country artist that reached out to us, and because of schedule, that's another thing. I'm very honorable. If I tell, Mitchell Gunther that he's going to have a race, his first annual, bracket race on October 3rd, regardless of who reaches out to me, we're going to stick to Mitchell Gunther on that weekend. And sometimes that happens when people reach out to you. If you've got a committed event, others may cancel if it's 6 months out or you think, I don't want to hurt Mitchell any more than I want to do the next person. So That's happened in the past where other big organizations or event promoters reach out, but we're booked. And I've got to be very careful with that. And what we're doing is we're trying a lot of different things, but I'm going to be very selective moving forward because it's limiting what new opportunities come out there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if anybody calls me for the next 5 months, we're fully booked for the next 5 months. Well, what if it's exactly what I've wanted for the last year and now I can't, and I'm not going to cancel somebody else just because it's a smaller race, because everybody needs an opportunity at one point or another. And I may be giving a small promoter an opportunity to get his foot in the door, and this guy's the next Donald Long. I don't know that, So there's a lot of trial and error being, 18 months into this, and we'll get it right.
Well, but I think you answered it, though. I think the word gets around. You're honorable and you stick to your word. And I believe anybody with a level-headed conscience about it would realize, well, okay, I can't get with them on this date. Okay, let me try to work with something else this year, and then perhaps next year get with them early,
right?
Or perhaps move the schedule,
right?
Because they know that if you did that for them, you would do the same for them. If they get first dibs on a date and you agree, that's that.
That's it.
And and so that'll work.
I've lost cars. I've lost cars that I've verbally committed, and at times even given a deposit to sellers, and they change their mind or something happens. How many of us haven't lost a sale where the seller commits to us and then changes their mind and goes for a more convenient route? And that's
I'm laughing at Corky's comment.
Only race there for a supersized pretzel.
Pretzels.
whatever it takes.
You got my wife, that's for sure. She loves them with the thick salt on them. She loves them. So it's like going, yep, that's a winner. So you see,
I'll tell you, we go in there during the week and we have taste samples. We'll create a new product, and even the ones we have, my wife still goes back and forth with different ideas, and they've done pretty well. And a lot of folks will bring their food, but I encourage them to try our concessions. Our Philly cheesesteak, our chicken Philly as well, sells like crazy. You'd be surprised. Our burger is top quality burger, even our cheeseburgers. So
I'm going to try the Philly because I love Phillies, but I'm picky.
yeah.
So, and I know you know what I mean when I say that. And but I'll try it.
Yeah, we've got like a lemon pepper, chicken wings, habanero, I don't know what, and they do them very, very well.
Okay, Mitch, we're going to take a road trip just to have dinner.
And I tell you, your prices are very reasonable too. I mean, they are very reasonable.
Yeah.
So, some of the best.
We're having to make adjustments. We were selling hot chocolate a week ago, something this size. It was like a 20-ounce cup for $3. I said, we're generous, but no, stop. This has got to change. So
You're running out of product really quick.
We did. We went through a ton of hot chocolate. I'd buy one too for $3 and 20 ounces.
Oh, yeah.
But we're learning as we go. I mean, every week we learn something new, and I'm excited to see what else we could figure out to perfect what we're doing.
That's really good to hear.
Well, I really do appreciate you coming on tonight and talking about these upcoming events. And, and of course, the most exciting news happened at PRI about the Peach Showcase of Speed. I mean, that was I was blown away by it. And I was like, you know what? This is going to be a really special event for not just, like I said, South Georgia Motorsports Park, but for the people who live in the area to experience. And I guarantee you, one person who doesn't come to the track and they're sitting at the house, and the first time they hear a pair of funny cars or a pair of top fuelers going down, they're going to go, "Woo, what was that noise?"
Yeah, that's the one event for the entire year that has got me concerned because it's a big investment on my part. But I've got to do it. I've always been a risk taker, and if this is what I want, this is what I've got to do. And whatever it would cost me to do, I committed to them to doing it. And we've signed the dotted line, but I encourage everyone to give us the opportunity on that Peach State, Showcase of Speed, because it's going to make a huge difference at our facility and in the area if we could hit this one out of the ballpark and convince them to grow and continue to do events like this, not only with us, but throughout the country.
Right.
This is the one that I'm going to plead to our region to come out and support us. All the others, I can't say are on cruise control, but we know we're going to get 12 to 15,000 spectators for lights out. We know the ones that have come back, Michael Hill and the Man Cup, we know what they look like. They've been around for 5, 6, 10, 12 years. But this one, the first off, and it's the one that's going to cost me the most this year. So you can't support a racetrack at home. You can't say, "Oh, I wish that one wouldn't have closed." Look what's happened at Palm Beach. It's been closed for 3 years now. Or did you go to their events when you were down there? Did you support them like you're claiming you'd support it if they were open now? And we struggle. Our taxes are through the roof. Our insurance is a fortune. Our payroll, we pay our employees very well. It takes a lot to put these on. But that Peach State and Showcase of Speed, I would urge everyone to give us the benefit of the doubt and give us a try. Give us a try because I know they're going to be happy.
Well, I tell you, once y'all start doing the promotion videos for that, please feel free to send it to me, and I will run them on our motorsports page for you.
Awesome.
and share them with several other drag racing pages on Facebook, just to keep on pushing it.
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you look at Drag Illustrated Winter Series. We try to do what we can for West Buck, and especially being here in Florida. We post the schedules. We post, some of the content, some of the racers that's going to be down there to, get people to go. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go, or Robert, to the U.S. Street Nationals because it's this weekend and we'll be racing as well. But I will be keeping up with it and putting updates on the page as they happen. It's just our way of giving back to be able to have guests like you and drivers on the podcast.
It's our pleasure. You're doing a great job, and we appreciate it because it takes a village. You can't do this by yourself. I can't do it alone. So collectively, we could certainly continue to push this industry in the right direction.
Now, where's the best place for people to find out information about South Georgia?
All our social media pages are South Georgia Motorsports Park, like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And then our website is www.goracesgmp.com. You'll see our events, our sponsors, our rules to different classes. We've recently updated our bracket rules. It was never on there, so now you could click on our bracket program. That's on the class rules, and you can see our end-of-year pay structure. You can see our flyers. It's very informative.
There you go.
Yep. Now, right before we let you go, I want to talk about the circle track real quick because you are bringing it up. Now, once y'all get that ready, it will be back to an asphalt track. It will not be dirt, correct? Because y'all were having a problem with dirt getting all the way over on the drag strip.
Yeah, we get about 50-50 suggestions on whether it be asphalt or dirt. It depends who you speak to. And it's already asphalt. They've already tried it in dirt. It didn't work out for Ozzie and Maria and their managers. So why am I going to try to not beat a dead horse, but reinvent the wheel? They tried it already. And I met with a track manager and a previous circle track owner 2 weeks ago at the facility. And so we get questioned, and today I answered one very, I can't say aggressively, but to the point, why? Because he, in bold letters or capital letters, why? Why not the rate? Why not the circle track? What are you waiting for? I said, man, I work 60 to 80 hours a day and oftentimes more than that, or a week, and oftentimes more than that. It needs $250,000. It needs, what else did I say? It needs electrical. It needs lights. It needs this, that, and the other. And everything takes time. This isn't, a hedge fund company. You want to give me $250,000 and work it 7 days a week? Have at it. I'd love for Circle Track to come back. But Rome wasn't built overnight. And whatever I do, I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to bring in these folks for a one-off race and then lose their business. They're going to enjoy it and say, wow, this was worth the wait. I mean, I've only owned it for 18 months. It hasn't been run for 5, 6, 7 years now. What's another year or 6 months, however long it takes? So I've met with promoters. I know pay structures. I know what it needs, and it's going to happen. But they just have to bear with us until we can get it done. And if there's someone out there willing to do it, please, by all means, reach out to us. If they're willing to take the risk, have at it. It's very easy to say, bring it back, spend another $250,000 and lose another $250,000 while you're at it. It's very easy to say that, but they don't back it up. So
it's easy to spend your money. Yeah, it's easy
like
to spend
you're saying, you want to be able to have a probably a sanctioned body that will actually use that facility and become a partner with you. So you've got races at several different times, maybe even a couple of sanctioned bodies to come in and use it. I know the track's a little bit too big for legend cars, but that's another opportunity if you wanted to go to as legend cars. You can use part of the track that's there now existing,
right,
and build into it a smaller track for that series. But yeah, you got to make sure that all your ducks are in a row, and when you go in there, you want to make sure that it's going to be a great investment for not just you and South Georgia Motorsports Park, but for the fans to come and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of circle tracks that do well throughout the country. Look at Freedom Factory, everything they've done with DeSoto. It's obvious. Does it have potential? Absolutely. But you talk about Legends cars. If you park a Legends car in front of me, I wouldn't know what it is, Mitchell. I don't come from that industry. So we've
Right.
got to make sure we do our homework, partner with the right people, and when we bring it back, we do the right thing. Not have our heads up our butt, I guess.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you make the right moves in the right direction. You don't want to take 2 steps forward and 5
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. And everybody's anxious, which I can understand that, but everybody's quick to spend your money,
Oh, yeah.
versus theirs. And, that's the nature of it. But we appreciate you coming on here tonight. Like you said, your busy schedule, and y'all prepping for testing for Sick Week coming up starting next week at South Georgia Motorsports Park. I believe it's starting Monday. Okay, and then circling back around on Friday for the ending race. Is that correct?
No. So we're testing Saturday and Sunday for Sick Week.
Okay.
We committed to not book an event before them, so their racers that are snowed in or in the north could test Saturday and Sunday. And so they'll be here testing, and you can buy admission. It's only $20 to get in and watch them test. Sunday sold out. Saturday is almost sold out. So there'll be a handful of cars on Saturday and Sunday. Monday is day 0, what they call it, which is tech.
Right.
They get inspected off 400 plus cars, and then they're able to make a couple of test passes. And now Tom Bailey has implemented something different. Not the stretch Tuesday too long. They've allowed what they call C and D cars to get their time run in on Monday night. And then Tuesday is actually day 1 of Sick Week. Tuesday's the official first day, and everyone will race there. C and D have another opportunity to race again if they want to improve their time slip or their time. And then from there, they go to Bradenton, Orlando, Gainesville, and back to us on Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Okay.
Day 1 is Tuesday. And then
There it is. Okay. I was a day off. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But okay, that makes sense. But you see, so once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the area, you have 2 opportunities to see the Dragon Driving Event Sick Week to come in obviously in the same week at your facility. So you definitely need to go see it because we've seen it. Mitchell and I've seen it. Raul, you've seen it. It's impressive. Not only the car is beautiful and just a wide arrangement of cars, but everybody's super nice. Get up close and you see a lot of very interesting things. And the fact that people drive these things, that's even more impressive. But in between upcoming races that you have, the Peach State Showcase coming up, Sega coming up in March, the bracket racing coming up in no time, so y'all are staying busy. The concession stand, got to try to fill it, amongst other things. But and you've told them how people can reach out to you with any inquiry or any questions.
Well, aside from that, it's an easy number to remember. If anyone ever has a problem with our facility, I could be reached, and it'll ring right here on my cell phone. It's 229-896-7000. I'm the one that answers 24 hours a day. I can't tell you how many times people, when I answer, say, well, I actually got somebody. I don't know what they do at other racetracks. It goes into voicemail, and somebody checks it a week later. I don't know. But my phone is with me the majority of the day, and whenever I can speak that I'm not on a podcast or something else, whenever I can answer the phone, I answer it. And any calls that I miss, I return them. And it goes straight to me. So if anyone's ever got any concerns or problems at the racetrack, I'll make it right. And that's 229-896-7000.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's absolutely right. I've reached out to him just inquiring, asking a general question. Okay, nothing that needed to be responded right away. And he responded back really quickly. And I was quite surprised. I even told you, I said, you don't have to answer me right now. It's okay. Don't know if you're on a tractor or what you're doing, but you took care of it. So you're absolutely right. But once again, we thank you very much for taking the time to come here on the Spot Motorsports Media tonight and talk about South Georgia Motorsports Park and all the wonderful things y'all got going.
My pleasure. Thank you
very much, bro. Thank you very much, Raul. We'll be talking to you soon. What's that, Mitchell?
I was going to see if Raul could just wait in the green room for a second, and we'll close it down. And I've got a question to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good night, guys.
You, Raul. Have a good night, buddy.
Well, I want to thank everyone who watched tonight and whoever may watch this tomorrow and the next coming days. You can also not just watch it on the Facebook page, but you can also watch it on YouTube, and it will be uploaded to Spotify by Robert here. And I tell you, South Georgia's got some really great things going on. If you're within a couple hours drive, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Great staff. Things move quickly. I tell you, when things have oil downs or something like that on the track, the staff is fast about cleaning it up. It is not a very long wait at all. But again, we're going to be taking some pictures and stuff during Sick Week, and hopefully try to get some interviews at Gainesville on Friday.
Yep.
And of course, we have John with WDRA that will be joining us here shortly next month. And of course, we'll be live streaming all the racing action from Gainesville Raceway this Saturday and Sunday. Start time should probably be around 10 a.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Sunday. Again, we appreciate you watching us tonight, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Y'all have a good night.